This is the Seller Process Podcast, where we talk about the best systems, processes, and SOPs for your Amazon business so that you can regain control of your time, build up your team, and scale your e-com empire.
Hello, entrepreneurs. If you are looking to maximize the potential of your business and expand your sales beyond Amazon, then this episode is for you. Our guest today will share with us the process to go through to expand in new sales channels, as well as the best opportunities every seller should consider to grow their business. I'm joined today by Jeff Campbell, a digital marketing veteran, e-commerce entrepreneur, and professor at Wake Forest University. In 2020, Jeff co-founded AI Commerce, an e-commerce brand owner and global digital marketing agency with a focus on marketplaces such as Amazon, Walmart, and Target. Hey, Jeff, welcome. How are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for having me, Gianmarco, and howdy to all the listeners.
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm really curious to talk with you about the process to expand into new sales channels, and before that, I want to kind of break the ice with learning more about the trends that you are seeing happening in e-commerce, because I know you recently gave a presentation talking about those trends, and I think it's something interesting that people should be aware of to see where we're heading, because things are going so fast in this space that it's really worth knowing the direction that the whole thing is taking, because things change very quickly. So where are we heading? Where do you see? I know you are like in this space. You've been in this space for several years, and you have your own business, and you're also a marketing agency. So you're totally into this immersed in this world. So what are the main trends, and what do you think where do you think e-commerce will go in the next few years?
Yeah, for sure. As you mentioned, we own 11 brands and we work with dozens more from an agency perspective. So see a lot of different categories, a lot of different sizes of business. But in one word, diversification. That is where we're seeing it going, and that's both from the consumer standpoint, as well as from the businesses, and really Amazon forcing it, right? As they've raised their fees, they've let in a lot of competition. CPCs are skyrocketing, and margins are a lot tougher to come by. People have to go elsewhere. So Amazon is still the top destination for where consumers start their shopping journey. But according to Jungle Scout, that number decreased. The percent of people that started Amazon decreased year over year and yielded to Walmart and social media. You think about Gen Z, right? A younger population, they're going to a whole bunch of different sources before they're making their purchases, very digitally savvy. And so it's no longer I'm just going to Amazon and I'm going to buy on Amazon. A lot of research, or if their world is in TikTok and social media, or they're buying their groceries at Walmart, they're already on those platforms. So brands need to go out to where the customers and the consumers are, where they're shopping, what they're familiar with. And that's driving that diversification. I saw a stat that also is important. I saw it was the Association of National Advertisers. They found 56% of US brands use more than 5 retail media networks. 16% use more than 10. So if you're an entrepreneur that's Amazon only, you certainly want to think beyond that. Another trend around diversification is B2B marketplaces. I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. But the fairs and the tundras, the younger buyers, the procurement, it's all moving online, a little away from the relationships and the phone calls and the physical visits, to expand a marketplace. And if you're in auto parts or you're in building supplies, you can put your products at a wholesale level on B2B marketplaces and let people buy in bulk at discounted prices. So we're seeing those grow quite a bit, many popping up over the last couple of years, and for you all to research based on your industry. And a third trend we're seeing is global diversification. So back to kind of the overall arching theme of diversification, Amazon makes it pretty easy to clone your accounts and globalize your listings, so you can reach people outside the US or whatever country. And then we're also seeing a lot of marketplaces, Mercado Libre or Shopee or whatever it might be, that are a little more regional or country focused. And those are important to test and learn with as well.
Okay, cool, cool. Very interesting. Actually, the stat that you mentioned, I think it's very telling of, where we're heading toward, because if you're saying that over 60%, right, of brands have more than 5 channels. So that's very interesting, because we live in an Amazon bubble. Most Amazon sellers live in this bubble, and they think they're doing an Amazon business, but actually it can be seen as in a broader perspective as a consumer brand, right? So as we can see, all the real consumer brands, those who succeed, those 8-figure plus businesses, they all sell in multiple channels, because Amazon is just one of the options we have. Okay, so you already mentioned a few marketplaces. Obviously, Walmart is the one that kind of pops up. It's kind of the first option for people that are selling in the US, especially, right? So that's the first option to expand after Amazon. So I want to talk with you about the process. Like, what kind of, if a brand now selling on Amazon successfully would like to expand into Walmart, what the process look like, what that person should be aware of, and what will be the steps?
Yeah, it's a very similar and pretty streamlined approach to launch a Walmart account. First, I mean, you have to apply. It's marketplace.walmart.com. And similar to Amazon and everything else, you have to bring some of your W-9s and your verify your bank accounts and set that up and register. And then it's pretty quick for approval. I'd say, usually within a week or two. Once you get approved, you're then going through and setting up your profile, setting up your products. Again, a lot of the work you did to optimize on Amazon is likely going to work well on Walmart. So images and videos and all that, bring that over. Do some test products and orders, and then you're ready to launch. And then there's, the advertising that's going to help with a cold start. One unique item for Walmart is you actually have to rank, I think it's like 256th at least in the in your category before they turn on or allow you to advertise. So it might take some external, and again, going back to some trends, another one we're seeing is outside traffic, Google, Facebook, Search Social, etc., TikTok and more being pushed and directed to marketplaces because they have a much higher conversion rate than your website. Now, it stinks you have to pay the 15% fees. And by the way, Walmart is a flat 15%. So you have to do that math to say, hey, is this valuable? But as we know with Amazon, that balance of bringing in organic or external traffic is actually going to help your organic lift as well. So it helps offset some of those costs with the volume. Even with that commission that you're going to have to pay versus your website. So you might need to cold boost those Walmart listings a little bit to then activate advertising. And then advertising is, somewhat similar and familiar to what you're used to in Amazon, right? You've got the search in grid, kind of sponsored product. There's some carousels, which are interesting, buy box banners, sponsored brands, and more. So again, pretty similar. And, as a general rule of thumb, a lot of the keywords, a lot of the ad types, what works on Amazon is going to be able to be ported over to Walmart. You don't really have to reinvent the wheel, which makes it really easy. And thus you're seeing a lot of the folks going toward Walmart.
Okay, that's interesting. Actually, something that you mentioned that I want to clarify, because honestly, we haven't started, with my brand to sell on Walmart. We're actually in the process to start as well. You mentioned about activating ads. It's something that you cannot start with automatically, like on Amazon from day one. Do you need any activation?
So yes, you can list organically without paid ads, but like Amazon, if the tree falls in the forest and no one's around to see it, you're probably not getting any sales. So, we always would suggest looking at advertising. But yeah, you are able to launch organically, and optimize in similar
Okay.
ways, similar SEO type concepts to show organically as well.
Okay. No, sorry. I think I misunderstood, thinking that you don't have the capability to like start campaigns from the beginning. I thought you
As
need to
long as
have.
as long as you're ranking at like 256 in your category, you have the ability to advertise. Usually
Okay.
that's going to happen. I think, and that actually, I mean, maybe a year ago, maybe not even a year ago, was actually even tougher. You actually had to rank a little higher, and they've loosened that a little bit to bring in more advertising dollars. But you know, probably should have led with this. The most important thing about Walmart or CPCs in general are much lower than Amazon, right? So when you look at that ROI calculation, ROAS, or if you're still using ACOS, that's going to be very enticing and a big reason why you'd want to go after Walmart, even though Walmart only has about a tenth of Amazon's traffic. It's a number two, but it's still very distant in volume. So a lot of this, as you're thinking about testing and launching, juice worth the squeeze, as we say, you might want to just start with some top products, see how those do, see how the CPCs compare before moving, a catalog of maybe 1,000 SKUs over to Walmart and launching them all at once. That could be a lot of work.
Right, exactly. So actually, that's a topic I wanna discuss more about, is the profitability, because we mentioned in the beginning that it's a common problem for Amazon sellers now, right? That everybody's losing profitability because of higher fees, higher competition. So I want to understand, in your experience, what has been the landscape, the competitive landscape in Walmart as compared to Amazon, like, so, and how that affects the profitability on Walmart.
Right. So the good news is to get in soon before it gets too crowded. But really, in the last 6 months, they've opened it up to global sellers, and it has gotten more crowded. Very different from Amazon. As you're trying to launch a new Amazon product, a lot of times you're up against 4,000 reviews, sometimes 29,000 reviews. You're rarely going to see that on Walmart. So that's all the more reason, even if you don't bring ad spend in, is to get your product up there so you can start gaining the reviews and getting that history. So from a competitive standpoint, yeah, CPCs are lower right now. There's going to be a wonderful download in the notes here, right, Gianmarco, and they'll be able to see some of those trends. There's a PackView quarterly CPC report that comes out that tracks sponsored brand and sponsored product on Amazon versus Walmart CPCs, and that helps. And again, has shown that it's much more efficient to spend with Walmart. But again, the big takeaway is it's still much lower volume in terms of sales and clicks, but it is a more efficient buy.
Okay, yeah, I understand. So you were right mentioning that, guys. Remember, in every episode of this podcast, you will always find some complementary material. So go check in the show notes of this episode or in the description of the YouTube video. You will find a link. And in this case, Jeff, it's sharing with us a very interesting set of statistics and slides with more information about this topic, and I really suggest you to go check it out, because there are like some stats that are really, really interesting that I think are gonna help you to make better decision and understand the overall landscape of where e-commerce is going to. So back to Walmart, I wanted to understand, in your opinion, if there were any like categories that are more suitable for selling on Walmart, or it's just in general like similar to Amazon?
Yeah, I mean the general is test and learn, right? No matter what category you're in or subcategory you're in, you are going to find some differences. Walmart is number one in digital grocery. More people are buying their groceries on Amazon than Amazon, or on Walmart than Amazon. So if you're in food and beverage, absolutely. And that's one of the fastest growing e-commerce segments out there right now. So that one's a must try. If I was a little reluctant, it is on some of the higher priced items. And we've worked with a lot of clients who, have built strong brands and are a little scared of the perception of Amazon being a lower price, cheaper type marketplace. And there's no doubt that shoppers are there for value, right? But in the US, we're in a recession, arguably, and people are looking for better deals and are looking for value. So that is driving a lot of the traffic to Walmart. The other good news is for advertising, your price, like Amazon, is up front, big and bold, and you're not getting a click if they're not willing to pay that price that's in front of them, and therefore no cost. So the good news is the Walmart, one of their recent earnings, they've talked about a lot of their growth are from households in the U.S. over 100,000. So some of the upper echelon, more money is flowing into to Walmart as shoppers, which is great news. And then people will be able to likely buy some higher AOV items if that trend continues. But that's one where I might be a little skeptical. If you're a higher end brand that might not have the Walmart shopper, that's something to maybe hesitate a little bit or think twice or test a smaller group versus go all in on Walmart with.
Okay, got it. Makes sense. Is the tools and the technology as developed as Amazon at this point? Like, what are the tools that we could use to gain competitive advantage and analyze the market on Walmart?
Yeah, unfortunately, they're not even close. Even some basics. I mean, I think everybody out there in e-commerce is using a Jungle Scout or Helium 10. The API, the information that Walmart's sharing, number of searches, CPCs, is not anywhere close to where Amazon was. And 5 years ago, Amazon wasn't able to share a lot of that data. So I hope they'll improve in terms of third-party technology. There are plenty out there. Your typical folks from PackView to IntentWise, and more. There's a lot of the bid management and the automation in the rules, which is so important, and we use on Amazon hopefully regularly. And then I think the data visualization also, both being able to show some things that you can't see in the Amazon or in the Walmart interface, but also bringing in multiple marketplaces together and seeing in one view and making some comparisons where you don't have to have kind of a homemade Excel chart that brings those together. So it's there, but it has a long way to go. And I think even within the native platform of Walmart, we're seeing some developments. And big announcement, right? Last year was their bid auction, right? And you're able to have many more gains in efficiency by only paying a penny over the next person versus their old system, which made it a little more cost prohibitive for some folks.
Yeah, for sure. But in our pre-interview chat, you shared with me some like case studies, or at least you were aware of some of them, that brands that actually were doing better on Walmart than Amazon, right? Can you share something about that? Because that's obviously very interesting, because most people think that Walmart, it's like 1/10 of Amazon. But actually, you have some experience where that's not the case. So is there any specific thing that you can share about that?
Yeah, and that goes back to the test and learn. We have one of our clients if you're going to be successful in Amazon, you're either the lowest price, you have a strong known brand that people are willing to pay a little bit more for, or some clear differentiators. If you don't have those three things, it's usually going to be a struggle in Amazon. There's certainly wins to be had, but moving over to Walmart, where there's less competition, if again you don't fit one of those three criterias, that's where we've seen some success. So we had a client that sold a random array of kitchen goods, scales and knives and car accessories like car covers and seat covers and whatnot. And we weren't having success on Amazon, not lowest price, didn't have a strong brand. There's really not differentiators in some of those products. At least they didn't have any. So we were in a tough spot. We weren't making money. We moved over to Walmart. We actually saw, again, very similar product mix, very similar keyword targeting, 20% more total sales on the Walmart platform than Amazon. And that was at a 55% less of ad spend. So half the ad spend. And then our ROAS, our return on investment, was actually 74% higher. So again, a lot of those lower CPCs We had some good conversion rates, less competition in a very crowded Amazon marketplace. Walmart gave us some light in the day. It was good to see.
Okay, yeah, that's very interesting. So basically, in that case, will be better maybe for those kind of mass market products, or those products that are already saturated on Amazon, and they will have more
Right.
chances, obviously, to sell on Walmart because the competition is not as high. Okay, it makes sense, and it's good to know. Then besides Walmart, I know you're selling in other marketplaces like Target, right? So can you share something about Target?
Yeah, I Costco, Home Depot, Lowe's are all kind of bigger box stores that saw growth last year, and again fit that diversification theme. We've also seen some specialty marketplaces, Chewy, Kroger, Carvana, also with some of the stats they're seeing a lot of growth. So for Target specifically, it's harder to get into. They want to be more selective with their partners. It is doable. Do apply. I think it's plus.target.com. And give it the best. It's a lot of auto campaigns. They're getting better. You have to use a third party tech platform such as Criteo or Citrus Ad to get at their advertising networks to get started. And then they have an in-house group, kind of like Market Walmart Connect. Is if you have bigger budgets and you're able to do things like in-store on-screen media, and you get into the DSPs, you work with a different group, and that's called Roundel with Target, kind of their in-house agency, if you will. But their interface, their native platform is strong. It's getting better, like Walmart, and it's just more selective on brands that they take. They don't want to be an endless aisle. They want to be more of a curated place that fits their consumer, and you can't blame them. And seems to be working for traffic. They're still growing.
Cool. Okay, that's interesting. I want to cover also the B2B marketplaces that are, up and coming. I think it's a great opportunity, especially for certain categories that are, or bigger brands, let's say, that, they're maturing, they're becoming bigger on marketplaces, selling online. So they might want to start also offering their products to physical stores, right? So what do you say about, what's your experience about B2B marketplaces?
Yeah, it's a great extension if you want to get into some maybe regional or some mom and pop stores. It is the younger digital first buyer. Helps you reach a new population. Triple digit percentage growth of those marketplaces, and I think Amazon B2B is certainly the first thing you should try out. Again, offer a small discount. We've seen that really work well, surprisingly well for some clients, to give some volume discounts. But there were over 400 US commercial and vertical industry marketplaces that focus on B2B. Fair and Tundra are probably two of the bigger ones. Right now, there's not a lot of advertising opportunities. It's emailing, it's links. Fair is probably the biggest and where I would start. Do some searches, see if your competitors are there, see if there's similar folks in pricing in your category, and see if it's doable. And it's pretty easy to start. From an ongoing basis, it's a 15% commission, just like we're used to in Walmart and others. The first sale to an individual or to a business, it actually has a 10% increase. So the first sale is 25% commission, which is a tough pill to swallow for some. And then future offers go down to 15%. But again, the hope is you're finding repeat buyers, and certainly new buyers, but you are going to pay a bit of a premium for those new buyers. But again, no advertising. It's a lot of like sharing links, emails, and it's just a platform. So check it out. Again, pretty nascent, but most of our clients, our own brands, are finding a lot of success there to reach new audiences. One caveat: make sure you're not pulling an Alibaba where it's just they're going and buying your products at a discount, and then they pop up on Walmart or Amazon, and they're your new competition. So you do want to have some restrictions in place with some of those buyers. That's not a place where you can just be a reseller online, and it's more for offline.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I guess how would you tackle that problem? Like, you have like terms and conditions when you sell
Yeah,
products, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
You need to make them basically sign some agreements, not that they will not resell the products online, right?
That's right.
Okay.
And
Got it.
and monitor it too. I mean, there's plenty of places that have those agreements or affiliate agreements, and not everyone honors those. So, you still do need to police. There's software out there that can, scan the internet, look for your products and make sure people are being honest partners.
Right. And fair in this case, you mentioned it might be, the one that you suggest to start with. Is it like a direct e-commerce like Amazon, so people buy directly and receive the product, or is it there's
Right.
kind of more talking in between? Because I know like this B2B sales might be larger volume, so they might want to talk with you over the phone or something. How does that work? How the sale process works?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, there is some back and forth on the platform. I think that all in general marketplaces want to make sure they keep the relationship or stay in the relationship, versus allow it to kind of go offline and direct without them. So you'll see some guards in that sense. But yeah, you are able to go back and forth. You're able to talk to these folks. It is wholesale larger deals at a discount. So you're dealing with less individuals. So the volume isn't nearly as much as like an Amazon or a Walmart, but they're bigger deals overall.
Right. Okay, exactly. So that's the interesting thing. Actually, I've done a few wholesale deals with my own brand, and I have to say, it was a really good experience in my case, because we had like very high margins, because we were selling directly to the the final buyer. And and it was very convenient, because we sold several hundred units in one go, that would have taken maybe a week to sell on Amazon, or more. So yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting. And most people maybe think that on wholesale you might have smaller margins, which might be the case for like those very, very big orders. But if you get orders from mom and pops stores or small stores, I would say margins might be even larger than when you charge a retail price. Is that your
and to
experience?
put some yeah, and to put some numbers to it, one of our own brands is Lumi World. They make the Lumi Pets that light up night lights. We are in 17 retail partners, so including offline, and over 1,000 boutiques. And again, it was really fair that helped us get through to all those different boutiques and beyond kind of the majors. Range.me is another site you might want to list on, especially if you're trying to get in with the big boxes or the distributors and some of the majors. That's a place where you can list your products and people go and look for new products, and they can pull you in as well.
Okay, that's very interesting. Cool. So you said range.me.
Right.
Right. Okay, cool. We'll put that in. All right. So it was a very interesting conversation. We outlined, the potential marketplaces where people can expand to. So definitely worth considering Walmart to just get positioned there for the future when it will be growing. You will be glad to have, those 10,000 reviews already, and be established in the first page. And Fair, I think it's a very interesting marketplace to look at, for if you're looking to start selling on B2B to physical stores. I have for you the last question. What is your best advice to achieve more with less when it comes to e-commerce expansion?
Yeah, I think it is math in a simple word. Understanding your break even ROAS by your cost of goods sold, all your shipping, your return percentage, breakage, and really understand your variable costs and what's left for media, and then know that break even point, right? And be able to spend and help build a brand without losing a dime, but maybe breaking even. So you really have to get into the math. You really have to understand a lot of the returns. And with Amazon especially, I see a lot of over focus on ACOS or ad ROAS, where I think hopefully everybody knows the more you spend, the better your organic traffic's going to get. It's a better consumer experience. Amazon sees sales on certain keywords and starts listing you organically. You have to bring in those organic sales into the equation and look at total ROAS or tacos. And again, that's one where I see a lot of people miss and over optimize their advertising at the expense of the organic growth, which is really the ultimate point of some of these marketplaces is free traffic. So get familiar with your product's math, your variable costs, your contribution margins, and your ROI on your advertising to make sure you're fully maximizing, and start thinking about customer acquisition costs for new customers, lifetime value, and some of those mid-funnel lifetime value type metrics that are mid-funnel that are about building people, getting them introduced to your brand for repeat purchases as well.
Okay, great. Yeah, sounds great. Thank you for sharing that. So if people are interested in connecting with you, how can they do that? What can you help them with?
Yeah, absolutely. So Jeff at aicommerce.com is my email address. Happy to talk. We work with people from a strategy and consulting standpoint to ongoing account listing management and advertising management and optimization. And if anybody wants to mention this podcast and webinar, it is we'll waive some of those fees, our launch fee and some of the initial strategies. So we've got a few spots open for July if anybody is interested in is jumping in with us. But yeah, happy to help. Jeff at aicommerce.com.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff, for coming and sharing your tips. It was very interesting. Yeah, thank you again.
All right. Thanks all. Great talking.
Yeah, thank you. So guys, remember the key to success is to emulate the best. So take action on the tips that Jeff just shared with us. And remember to download the guides and the stats that Jeff is sharing with us. You can find those on the YouTube description or in the show notes of this podcast at thesellerprocess.com. All right. I wish you guys a productive week, and I'll see you in the next episode. Hey, entrepreneurs. I hope you enjoyed the episode and learned something from the interview. If you're serious about creating systems for your business, automating processes, and building up your team so that you can transfer the tedious daily tasks in order to focus on more high-level strategic tasks and work on your business and not in your business, I've created a guide for Amazon sellers named Capturing Systems and Creating SOPs that you can find at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook, where you will learn how to leverage systems and SOPs in your Amazon business so that you can accomplish more by working less, optimize your time, automate and delegate tasks, and reap the benefits of being a true business owner and not simply an operator in your own business. Go download the ebook at thesellerprocess.com/systems ebook and start implementing all the tips and insights that I share with you. And leave us a review or a comment to let us know how the content we are sharing here is making an impact in your business. And have a productive week.